All right. Mr. Chairman, national and regional executive members of our party APC, the media, fellow countrymen and women, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, thank you so much for attending this very important press conference, even at a very short notice. Your unflinching support in strengthening our democracy, safeguarding and protecting our constitution has been tremendous. You are undoubtedly the real voice of the voiceless. I called you here today in my capacity as a citizen first before my party, the All People's Congress. The day has come for me to add my voice and speak up to power as done by many others. This press conference today is to delve into the many challenges confronting our nation and preferred solution to those challenges. A wise man once said, and I quote, "Hard times create strong men. Strong men create easy times. Easy times create weak men. Weak men create difficult times. And difficult times create parasites. But what we need is to create warriors, visionary leaders, and not parasites." Ladies and gentlemen of the media, I want to ask a humble question. What is the future of our country like? How would you define Ghana's democracy today? The future of a country is that if we don't take care, we will destroy our nation from within, and the future generation will have nothing to build on when they take over. Economy. Our country is on its knee due to the silence from the clergy, Peace Council, some civil society organizations whose voices have always been loud enough at other times, but have suddenly gone to sleep and not awakened. What has changed? Let's rise above pettiness and greed. Let's speak truth to power and save our country from sinking. Ghanaians are suffering. Many cannot even afford 3 square meals a day. The hardship is killing people slowly. Let's not be afraid and refuse to talk on behalf of our people who do not have a voice of their own. The indiscipline is one too many, and something must be done now to curb the situation before it gets to uncontrollable situation. Fuel prices and other utilities tariffs are on the rise almost every day. Transport fares are increasing every day, thereby worsening the plight of the citizen. Cost of goods and services keep rising as if there is no economic management team in government. Rising energy prices, tougher financial conditions, and rising food prices has hit our economy badly. Many are in deplorable situation and a looming state of state collapse. The economy of Ghana is really looking terrible. The government owes every sector, and some institutions have gone on strike. Let's embrace ourselves for the West, especially job creation. Salaries are still the same. Foodstuffs and groceries are increasing every hour and every day. A bowl of kenke is now sold for 3 Ghana cedis, which cannot even feed an 11-year-old. Times are hard, my brothers and sisters. Flooding. The recent rainfall, which led to flooding in most areas, especially in Ashanti and part of Greater Accra, has exposed our inept. We are planning. What have we learned from the June 3rd disaster that shocked the nation and took the lives of many innocent people and loss of properties? We spend millions of dollars to waste management companies, yet we cannot manage waste. Look at our streets and gutters, all choked with debris. The assemblies have excavators at their disposal, yet when it rains, their buildings get flooded. We train engineers every year, yet we don't engage them in the productive sector to delve into our numerous and urgent issue of town planning and enhancing laws to prevent people from building on waterways, which cause blockage of the free flow of water. We all need to be part of nation building through advocacy and speak against the culture of silence, which is a reality. Ladies and gentlemen, urban flooding has become a major problem in many parts of the world due to its socio-economic environmental impact. Ghana is not an exception when it comes to urban flooding. Ghana recorded an unprecedented flood event in November 2010, which affected 55 communities and displaced 700,000 people. Additionally, 3,234 houses were destroyed, while 23,588 acres of farmlands were submerged. Regardless of the effort of flooding on the territory every year, not until strong institutions are built to ensure the enforcement of regulative measures, we will continue to wallow in flood-related crises. We need to construct drainage system to link all waterways, channel it into the sea, build very solid sea defense system, expand all our gutters, and desilt our waterways. We have to construct community catchment areas to hold some of the volumes of water when there is heavy downpour. We must include structural flood protection measures like storm drains and construction of floodways linking the communities. We should adapt ways of dredging our nation before the rains start. Debt stock. Our public debt stock is 81% of GDP. We have mortgaged all our natural and mineral resources for loans. Our debt stock are at the highest peak, and one would wonder how we got there. We can't continue borrowing when we can manage our country without borrowing. The inflation today is 27.6%, making us the thief in the world. Ghana is breaking down. Ghana's fiscal deficit in 2018 and 2019 were the highest in the entire West African sub-region. In 2017 was the second highest in West African sub-region behind Cape Verde. 2020 fiscal deficit is 15.7. Again, was the highest in the West African sub-region and the second highest in the entire sub-Sahara African region behind Seychelles. Clearly, looking at the trend of upward trajectory since 2017, this has nothing to do with COVID-19. We are already in a mess before COVID-19. IMF bailout. On Friday, July 1st, President Nana Addo gave instruction to the Finance Minister, Mr. Ken Ofori Atta, to commence the engagement with the IMF following a telephone conversation between the President and the IMF Managing Director, Ms. Kristalina Georgieva, conveying Ghana's decision to engage with the fund. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, Ghana is seeking an IMF bailout for the 17th time. Former President John Mahama and the NDC took Ghana to IMF program in 2015. Today, we are again heading to IMF for another bailout program. Ghana's economic downturn started even before the arrival of COVID-19, and both the IMF and the World Bank have echoed it in their report. Ghana's swift journey to IMF collaborates the fact that both the NDC and the MPP has nothing to offer our beloved country, Ghana. Government is arguing that our economy is performing terribly because of COVID-19 and the Russian invasion of Ukraine. I, however, wish to ask, is the impact of COVID-19 and Russia war against Ukraine exclusively a situation against Ghana? How can a global phenomenon skip Cote d'Ivoire and all the surrounding countries and only attack Ghana? How? How does it happen? Ladies and gentlemen, the MPP in 2017 outdoored the much-touted economic management team chaired by the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, Senior Minister Ya Osofo Malfo as Vice Chair. Other members are Ken Ofori Atta, Minister for Finance, Dr. Wusu Afriye Akoto, Minister of Food and Agriculture, John Peter Amewu, Minister for Energy, Professor George Jan Banfo, Minister for Planning, Alan Kojok Chirmante, Minister for Trade and Industry, and Dr. Antonio Akuto Ose, Minister for Monitoring and Evaluation, with Joe Amwa Tufo as the team's secretary. What a team. What a team. Ladies and gentlemen, the all-known economic management team, headed by the economic messiah, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, failed to deliver after a series of audacious promises to transform Ghana from consumption to production and arrest the dollar. The MPP again dissolved the economic management team after a series of setbacks, constituted a committee of 20 eminent persons to manage Ghana's alien economy. The committee performed worse than the Bawumia-led economic management team. Government needs to embrace all-inclusive governance model practices, to embrace diversity to grow the economy, get non-performing ministers out, hold all office executives accountable for their stewardship, adapt best economic models that drives and value for money outcomes, and avoid investment which does not yield positive outcome. We have borrowed to the extent that we cannot borrow again. Ghana has been downgraded to C, which means that we cannot pay debts when we borrow. Our country is not only broke, but bankrupt. We have become so incredible to the extent that nobody is willing to lend us money. Can you imagine that we've mortgaged everything that we have for the next generation for borrowing, yet you think we have done well in 65 years? Because of Moody's downgrade, Ghana cannot raise funds internally to support its balance of deficit, because no one is willing to buy our bonds when we float them, a reason for the bailout. We are not generating enough income, so we were downgraded to C by Moody's rating agency. Therefore, we are not credible to raise money. E-levy has become a disaster, and hence the need to go to IMF for bailout to restore credibility, to get some internal generated resources. IMF comes in purely for stabilization, balance of payment support, and liquidity support. There is no free lunch anywhere. Our government keeps giving conflicting figures, and IMF will need accurate information and figures for a bailout. I wonder if we can make that. The turnaround of the MPP government for an IMF bailout is disappointing to a greater number of Ghanaians due to previous statements made by the Finance Minister, Honorable Ken Ofori Atta, and the President himself, that their government will never seek for IMF program as a roadmap for economic liberation. But what has changed? It is very obvious that mismanagement of funds through corruption has left the government with no other option but to turn out to IMF for a bailout. Going to IMF for a bailout is not the major problem, but our concern and worry is that with this same group of corrupt officials, the story will remain unchanged with funds from the IMF. Ladies and gentlemen, fuel prices. JP Morgan warned that oil prices could reach stratospheric $380 a barrel if Russian cuts supplies from Ghana. If Russia cuts supplies further. Ghana needs to refine its crude before attributing its economic downturn to Russia-Ukraine war. Ghana has not donated money, non-weapons to Ukraine or Russia to have the locals to complain more than Poland, Bulgaria, Hungary, or Germany, who depend heavily on Russian oil and gas. Government should restore the Tema oil refinery, set up more refineries to refine some of the oil produced here. It will help bring down the cost of fuel price instead of exporting the crude and later importing the refined oil at a higher cost. Certainly, most of all petroleum products in the country are imported. The malfunctioning of the Tema oil refinery has intensified the country's dependency on the international market because all fuel are imported from outside the country. The exchange rate plays a major role in the price build-up of every liter of fuel. Government is left with two options: to mitigate and control the cost of fuel in this country. One, government must invest in the revamping thermal oil refinery to the fullest capacity. And government must put security measures to make sure that there are no loopholes in the distribution of refined fuel. If necessary, a serious management team should take oversee proper management of TOR. Our crude should be given to us to refine, and all other industry players must refine their share of their crude in Ghana. If we begin to refine our product, it will help regulate and stabilize our Ghana city and reduce fuel cost. Two, government should control the market by importing the product at a lower cost and take off all taxes and levies, which constitute 40% of the price built up, and control the price by allowing GOIL to determine fuel prices. GOIL should be the market leader. Most OMCs take or display their price after GOIL. An assessment of the current price built up indicates that for every liter of petroleum sold at 6 cedis 90 pesos, there was a tax component of 2 cedis 70 pesos, constituting about 40% of total build up. And I'll take you the list of the fuel taxes that makes our price very expensive. One, energy levy recovery levy, energy debt recovery levy, 49 pesos. Road fund levy, 48 pesos. Energy fund levy, 1 pesos. Price stabilization and recovery levy, 14 pesos. Sanitation and pollution levy, 10 pesos. Energy sector recovery levy, 20 pesos. Special petroleum tax, 46 pesos. Primary distribution margin, 11 pesos. Boss margin, 9 pesos. Fuel marketing margin, 5 pesos. Marketers margin, 46 pesos. Dealers and retail operation margin, 30 pesos. This constitutes 40% of our price build-up. So every liter, if a liter of oil is 10 cedis today, taxes and levies from government alone is 4 cedis. Which means that if we are able to scrap, if government is able to scrap off all these taxes and levies for the next 1 year, then we'll be buying a price of fuel at 6 cedis instead of 10 cedis. Because we are not in normal times. And government must sacrifice for the people of Ghana and not always want to take and take and take and then keep complaining. We need all well-meaning Ghanaians to build non-partisan consensus to navigate alternative ways of making life more comfortable for our people. The price of fuel in Ghana today remains one of the highest in Africa. Meanwhile, we are a fuel economy. We produce fuel, yet we buy it more than any other person in the world. In accounting, those who are accountants here, we learn of make or buy options of applying scarce resources allocation between two competing projects and its socio-economic benefit. Why are we pretending we do not know how to make life better for Ghanaians? May the good Lord grant all of us wisdom. If a farmer decides not to cook his own produce for his family, then he will always buy food from outside, and it will be more expensive for the family than cooking himself. This is an example of what is happening to us as a nation. If you're a farmer and you farm rice and you refuse to cook the rice for your family to eat, and then you take the rice and go and sell it to a restaurant owner, and the restaurant owner decides to cook that rice for you, definitely you are going to buy it more expensive than if you cook it yourself. This is the situation of Ghana. We have refused to refine our crude. Now we sell our crude to the outsiders, who then refine it and send it back to us, to Ghana, to buy. I mean, what is wrong with us? Where is the economic management team? Taxation. The All People's Congress is not against taxation, but our concern and worry is about mismanagement of funds accrued from taxation. While wages of the Ghanaian worker remain static, salaries are the same, but every day the prices of goods and services keep quadrupling, and they want us to make magic to survive. There's no magic in Ghana. I mean, even Jesus has abandoned Ghana. With almost all labor union up in arms over poor wages in the wake of worsening economic hardship, the Akufo Addo Dr. Bawumia continues to impose killer taxes on the already burdened taxpayers. The current situation demands tax holidays for young businesses to thrive. Government must check underpayment and evasion of taxes at all various borders. The activities of SEPS and Ghana Revenue Service must be regulated and scrutinized. Trillions are lost to the state as a result of corrupt revenue collectors. Restaurants, shopping malls, filling stations, shop charges taxes that does not reflect in our revenue books. When you go to restaurants and you eat, and you take your receipt and you look at it, you will see tax component, levies all there. But these taxes do not reflect in our revenue. But instead of government making sure that proper collection of taxes are made, they keep bringing new taxes again. And they think that that is the best way to collect revenue. The revenue authorities must regulate the activities of all these businesses and make sure that revenue is collected on behalf of government of Ghana, rather than imposing new taxes on its citizens. President Nana Akufo Addo has failed to transform his sloganeering campaign promises into reality because of excessive borrowing to serve debt. Pivotal with the fact that the current administration has failed to concentrate on price control system, which the All People's Congress championed in the run-up to the 2020 election and captured same in its manifesto. Because of lack of price control system, every businesswoman and businessman, even in the market, they keep changing their own prices every day. So you go to the market with 10 cedis, the tomato seller will tell you that, oh, you can get 2. The bread seller will tell you that you can get 5 pieces. What is wrong with our price control system? Do we have one? If we don't have one, we should begin to adapt one so that we can regulate the prices of goods and services in the market. Engagement. MPs must put aside their partisan and selfish interests and rather put the national interest first in the discharge of their duties in Parliament. The current hung Parliament provides a good opportunity for Parliament to showcase its strength in seeking the interests of the people. Our MPs should not be seen fighting or abusing each other in Parliament. They should be talking and putting the national interest first. We need to be serious as a country. The government must engage the minority on pressing national issues to help build consensus. The majority caucus must also engage the minority, while the minority caucus must put aside their parochial interests for the good of the country. Our parliamentarians need to be accountable to their constituents and not getting away with what they are doing in Parliament. President Nana Akufo Addo must set up a second economic management team comprising key stakeholders, including captains of industries, labor, political parties, to provide a second view to the government's own economic management team. That way, the country will be gaining more knowledge and expertise from a non-partisan body to guide it in its policies and programs. As a country, we must shift from importation to production and manufacturing to salvage the city. We cannot continue to be importing everything at the cost of local production and expect that life will be easier for Ghanaians. Transparency. I am urging the government to be transparent with Ghanaians on economic challenges confronting the country, and occasionally continue to engage with the populace that will make every Ghanaian appreciate the difficulties and also buy into government programs or changes in policy direction. We are not in normal times, and in times of crisis like this, we need new ideas from within to help overcome the situation. We must learn to change our consumption level, attitude, and reduce wastage. Housing. We have thousands of housing units built by previous governments and abandoned in various parts of the country. Meanwhile, some section of Ghanaians are being subjected to harsh living conditions, especially our security men and women, our nurses who are risking their lives day in, day out without affordable or decent place to lay their heads with their families. Some Ghanaians are sleeping in kiosks, others in structures that are not befitting to human. But our government has decided to turn a deaf ear to these problems. These affordable housing units were built for Ghanaians, but because of corruption, they are no longer affordable. The high level of corruption in these projects, in these housing units, is so high to the extent that these houses cannot be affordable anymore. And that is how come government is unable to even sell them out, because they are more expensive than even the normal houses now. The housing deficit is too wide, coupled with the ineffectiveness of rent control board, who have now become puddle to landlords and estate developers, who continue to exploit the citizen, even when the law says no one is allowed to take rent advance for more than 6 months. Landlords and estate developers are milking Ghanaians, and its citizens are forced to make a 2 years advance payment, and rent control board is aware of this, and nothing is being done about it. Government should finish up all affordable housing projects, give them out to the citizens. On Saturday, I drove to Sagleme, affordable housing, and this time, you know what? I could not find an entrance because the whole place was bush and abandoned. This Saturday, I was at Sagleme. I could not get entrance to Sagleme. Can you imagine? It's even worse than the last time. So this time, no road. The last time I found a road, but this time there's no road. So I can't jump. Maybe I will fly with a helicopter and land there the next time. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, the size of government continued to balloon despite the signs of a collapsing economy way back to 2 years ago. Yet our leaders are doing nothing about it, and even continue to add ghost names to the payroll and raise the wage bill, which has led us to where we are now. If the president reduced the size of his government and take out all ghost names, we will not be where we are now. It is laughable when I play both the video content and audio of our Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia now. I ask myself several questions, whether indeed he is really a doctor in economics. Years back, this was the same man who said he has arrested the dollar and given the keys to the IGP. The question now is, what has happened? The cost of doing business has gone all times high, with the cedi performing worse against all other major currencies globally. The effect of this dollar has affected oil prices and driven the inflation to an unfathomable, record-breaking situation. Corruption and mismanagement. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, are you aware that some heads of CEOs in government institutions are richer than the institutions they head today? Are you aware? The heads of the institutions, they are richer than the institutions they head. This is Ghana for you. I will give you. They have suddenly become so rich in a very short period through the institutions they head. Most heads of government institutions are creating schemes that will pave the way to loot the country's scarce resources. And the government is aware, and those schemes and yet says nothing about it. Conditions of service of Article 71 holders should be looked at. They are not different from other heads of institutions like headmasters, district directors of education, regional directors of education, etc. The size of staff at the various ministries must be reduced drastically. Corruption has been a major bane to Ghana's socio-economic and political development since independence in 1957. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, what lessons have we learned from Russia-Ukraine war and COVID-19 pandemic? What are the lessons that Ghana and Ghanaians have learned from these pandemics and this crisis. Simple. Africans must add value to their resources, produce what they consume, and not depend on other nations for their needs. Sooner than later, listen very well, sooner than later, Ghanaians will be buying a gallon of fuel at 100 Ghana cedis. And there will be shortage of fuel. And definitely we will queue to even get that fuel. Because we have become consumers. We have oil, bauxite, all the minerals you can think of. Yet we depend on other countries to survive. Every day we say Russia and Ukraine, Russia, Ukraine. What have we learned from Russia and Ukraine? Every excuse is about Russia and Ukraine. And we are collapsing. Look at all these young men, no jobs. So this one will attribute to Russia and Ukraine. You were not even having a job before Russia and Ukraine war started. Isn't it true? So why are they always telling us Russia and Ukraine? Thank you very much for coming.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for questions in the audience, and the doctor will be there. Lift up your hand, and then the name of the media house you represent, and then you ask your question. Thank you. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I saw you a new certificate. I don't know if you have applied another additional PhD to your. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, in your debate, you made mention of numerous taxes put on the petroleum products.
Yeah.
From the argument of government, only few people pay taxes in this country. And for that matter, the fuel sector is the only avenue they can bring in revenue. Now we're having a deficit in our budget. Reducing the taxes from petroleum, what will government do if there's any option? Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Look,
Your name and where you represent.
my name is Asante Akan Ghana. I work with IMF, Star FM and You mentioned that the economic management team has failed both.
Yeah.
And suggested that an additional or
a second
economic management team should be set up.
Yeah.
But we are complaining that we don't have money, and we are complaining about the size of government and their expenditure. Why is it necessary that we should set up a second one? Secondly, you mentioned that e-levy has become a disaster. You've not said much on that. Why do you think that, or the APC think that it has become a disaster?
All right. Yes.
All right, good morning.
Morning.
My name is Ketcher. I work for Class Media Cry.
Okay.
First of all, let me applaud you for a comprehensive analysis of what you have done to us.
Thank you.
A comprehensive analysis of the economy.
Thank you.
But we normally hear this from other politicians. For example, Dr. Bawumia, before he became vice president, spoke a lot about the economy. And this actually charged people to have that kind of trust in him. Why is it that when the politicians come to, when they gain the power through the ballot box, things turn other way round? That whatever they pronounce doesn't turn into realities. Is there a specific problem that has not been addressed? I can't just understand. Okay. Secondly, you spoke about the crude oil issue. That crude oil is not being refined in Ghana. It's refined from overseas abroad. So when it comes back to Ghana, the price goes higher, which is exactly true. Why is it that this problem has actually not been remedied? Because we've had successive government making mention of such issues, and when they come to power, they are not able to do that. What are the reasons behind
Okay,
this?
I will start from you. No, let's three. First of all, you asked about politicians and the promises and manifestos they bring out in order to manage, and when they get power, they are not able to do it. The problem is that most of them tell lies in order to win power. They lie to you people. When we are telling you the truth, they are lying. And they come in big cars and big convoy and then deceive you that they will do A, B, and C. But over the years, they keep deceiving you people and you keep voting them. You keep recycling their lies. You're not looking for another option. You think that the size of a political party means the best economic management team. You think that the size of a party determines the knowledge they have or the wisdom. No, they are just a group of liars. Bunch of them. How come, with all the mineral resources you and I have inherited from our great-grandfathers, we are poor, that we cannot feed 3 square meals to our kids? We have oil. Foreigners have taken over. We have bauxite. Foreigners have taken over. We have diamond. It's in the hands of the foreigners. Cocoa. All our resources have been given to the foreigners. And you are here, media man, standing with a long rope, with a mobile phone. And meanwhile, foreigners are taking all your resources, your gold, they go to the bank and they give them loans again. Your resources is given to them. And they become big men. They become industry players. And you and I, we are here making press conferences every day. And the white man and white men and their families are in the field, making millions of dollars. Whose fault is it? Our leaders. Because we have given it to them free of charge. And we call it PPE. That is why our crude that you are talking about, instead of refining our crude here, they will take 90% of the crude that they take from Ghana and send it abroad and sell it there. And they will refine it and bring it back and you buy it at a very high price. Why can't we? God has given us the resources. How much does it cost to revamp Tor? $30 million to $40 million. How much does it cost to put up a refinery? $300 million. But because of wickedness and greed of our leaders, some are making so much because we are not refining here, they will not allow us to refine our crude. So that is why we are paying a high price. We are not paying a high price because we don't know. We are paying a high price because we have greedy leaders. Wicked leaders, let me put it that way, who wants to make money at the expense of all of us. If not, why will a country like Ghana have crude and yet we are buying fuel more expensive than any other country in the world? I hope I've answered your question. Your gentleman who spoke about the e-levy. You see, the e-levy was projected to raise a revenue of about 600 million Ghana cedis a month. Now the e-levy only generates 60. Am I right? Yeah. A month. So if I want to put it in context, how will I call it? A failure. Am I right? So if e-levy has become a failure and government has been downgraded to C and cannot borrow again, cannot raise internal revenue, internally generated fund, then government is running to IMF, not because of the money from IMF alone, but because if they go to IMF, Ghana will become credible. Industry players and businessmen will now believe in our economy and can now invest in our economy. Because as I said now, downgrading to C means that even if you borrow money, you can't pay. If I lend you money, you can't pay. So why will I come to your country and do business? Why will I invest in your business? So we might be thinking about the IMF for them. No, it's not only the IMF that they want, because they are no more credible. They have lost credibility as a country. You are owing. If the people who are owing come, they will sell all of us 80,000. Everybody must pay 80 million. No, it's true. Go and check the statistics. We are all owing. Almost 8,000 to 10,000 Ghana cedis, all of us. Our debt stock is 81% of GDP. What it means that we don't owe Ghana. If you don't understand the statistics, Ghana is not for us anymore. We are owing. All of us, including those who are pregnant. Their children, unborn babies are owing. Because the moment you give birth, you become a Ghanaian, you owe. This is where they have taken us to.
So the e-levy money could have solved our problem?
The e-levy money is not, e-levy is, how is it going to solve our problem? Eh? Your second question was what?
Economic management.
Yes. You see, it is better to have prudent economic management team, a second economic management team, than to waste money on unnecessary budgets and useless projects. When you have a second economic management team, we will not be where we are because they will manage the country better, devoid of corruption. But because it is all, winner takes it all kind of political syndrome that we are practicing. When government is in power, everything belongs to them. Nobody can advise them. Even when you advise them, some of them will agree and others will not, because it's going to affect those who don't want it to be adapted. Sometimes, to be very honest with you, sometimes I do advise government. Sometimes I do. And sometimes they take it, sometimes they have to debate about it. I've started it not NPP time, not NDC time. But the things we say, if they will listen to all, will not be where we are. Because we sit from behind and we see the chaos in front. When they are driving, they don't know they are in the ditch, but we can tell them they're in the ditch. Then the guy, the first one, paying taxes. Where is he? The gentleman. Yes, you are saying that we should reduce what? The petroleum?
He said the tax control on it.
Yes. You see, now let me tell you something. We pay taxes in order to build our country. And when we do not do proper collection of taxes, you will realize that even those who are paying taxes, it's not enough for us. Because we are not doing proper collection. We allow people to evade taxes. So the very few ones that are paid is nothing to our revenue. But if we do proper collection of taxes, even when we are paying small, it is huge. Are you getting me? Even if everybody is supposed to pay 2 cedis tax every month, it's better than companies who are 20, 30 companies who are paying taxes. But the point is that these tax revenue collectors themselves are criminals. They themselves have become rich. Take them one by one. All the revenue collectors, SEPs, all of them are building houses and buying bed cars. GRA, everybody has a nice car. But if you check their salaries, it cannot fetch them those cars. It cannot buy them those houses. So for us to be able to continue to move on as a nation, anybody who invades tax must go to jail. In Germany, even if you're the president, you invade tax, you go to jail. Go and look at their statistics. Many of their ministers and many of their sportsmen have gone to jail because of tax evasion. But here, the tax revenue collector, they will teach you how to evade the tax because they want their cut. Why is it that restaurants are charging so much taxes, yet it does not reflect in our revenue? Go to any restaurant and eat. The last time I went to a Chinese restaurant, I ate for 1,000 Ghana cedis with my family. We paid 230 Ghana cedis tax. I took the paper to my house. I looked at it and I asked my wife, 220 Ghana cedis tax, and we are poor as a nation. Only me and my family. My family and I, we paid 240 Ghana cedis as tax for eating. Only eating. So what did with my own money? After paying all levies and taxes, I still pay for that. So why are we poor? All right. Yes.
Thank you so much. No,
Yeah.
When you started with addressing that young man, you almost forced me to remove my robe. So you don't tell me it is longer. My name is Kennedy Addo, Chairman TV.
Yes.
Doc, I was expecting that you also touch on the teachers' strike.
Yeah.
Because as I speak with you,
yes,
some teachers from the public schools are on strike.
Yeah.
From the interviews we've conducted,
yeah,
the government has told the teachers, has advised the teachers to get back to the classroom pending
negotiation,
an arrangement,
negotiation,
for or something.
Negotiation for everything.
I was expecting you to touch briefly on
yeah,
that strike action.
Yeah.
Apart from that, you also mentioned the issue of Article 71 holders,
yeah,
remuneration.
Yeah.
Would you agree with those who are fighting strongly for the Constitution to be changed?
To be amended.
To be amended.
Yeah.
Do you agree with
yes,
those people?
Yes, I think that I touched on the strike, but I just didn't want to elaborate because I've already 7 pages If I want to elaborate on everything, I'll have 15 pages. So I said that many institutions are on strike. That was the lead. Now, the issue of amending the Constitution is long overdue. We keep amending the Constitution because the framers of the Constitution, most of them are not alive again. And because time changes and things changes, it is necessary at certain times in our day-to-day activity, we look at the Constitution and make amends. Of course, the Constitution must be amended because certain people at Article 71 are over-enjoying their privileges. And we have to look at it again. Not only that, there's several parts of the Constitution that needs amendment. The powers of the president is too much, I believe. I don't need too much power to become president. Too much institutions. Look at the Special Prosecutor Office attached to the office of the president and the government of the day. How are you going to prosecute the one who appointed you? And that is why the APC is talking about an independent special prosecutor. Since that new special prosecutor was inaugurated, till date, I've never heard anything about the man. I don't know whether he's alive or he's also on holidays somewhere. Huh? He's where?
He's alive.
He's alive. So, you see?
He has gone to court twice.
Twice. Okay. Then only twice. Okay. Because there's a lot of corruption in the system. If going to court twice after being inaugurated as special prosecutor for years, and you go to court twice, that means that you don't have too much work.
He's still gathering evidence.
All right, let's hope that you do that. Yes, please. Bintu, Haja Bintu.
Yes, I work with class media.
Yes. Long time, Haja Bintu.
Since you are speaking today as a citizen,
Yes.
because the president have asked us to be citizens and not spectators, and that is what you are saying, and you told us in your statement that you are talking as a citizen
Yeah.
to raise concern. You made mention of the Saglemen housing projects that have been abandoned.
Yeah.
When they took videos, shared, and the second time you were going there was no road.
Entrance. That was not yet. Yeah.
Entrance,
Yeah.
yes. In your own capacity as a lead advocate, what are you going to do to help the many Ghanaians that you are raising concern today that they are homeless? A lot of people are sleeping outside, not only taking pictures and sharing. What will you go ahead, do the extra mile to help so that the Saglemen project that they are telling us is affordable will indeed be affordable for the ordinary Ghanaians?
All right. Haja Bintu. Yes.
Okay, so my name is Maxwell from Bawumia.
Yeah.
Doc, would you subscribe to the call or the case by the government that Ghana's economy is where it is today because of
COVID-19
outbreak and then the Russia-Ukraine war? And secondly, recently the former president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, made a call that the vice president and then the finance minister should be excluded from the people who are going to negotiate with the IMF people. Would you also subscribe to that? Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, look, you have rehashed problems I think we all know in this country, or some of us know. APC was formed not only as an alternative party to the ruling party, but to press home the demand and ensure that there is proper accountability of an incumbent party. What else beyond this press conference will your party be doing to ensure that government stays by its boundaries?
All right. Now let me take three at a go because I'm writing. Haja Bintu spoke about the issue of Saglemen and what we should do as a country. The country is bound by laws and regulations. If it was by power and strength, I'm sure by now I'd have gathered a lot of Ghanaians to go and occupy all those buildings and allocate them to anybody who needs those buildings. You see, lack of leadership is our problem. We don't actually look at what governance is all about. We waste all the resources that taxpayers are paying. I spoke about this argument, made a video about it, spoke to many of people in government, and they promised that they were going to do A, B, C, and D. Even 2 days ago, I spoke to the deputy minister and I asked him, what are you people doing with Saglemen? I went there trying to enter and I couldn't. And he told me that some people are saying that they should give Saglemen to them for free. I said, who are the people? He said, he can't mention. I said, okay. that the cost of settlement is $200 million. When they did the valuation, it is only $40 million. I said, okay, if the cost of settlement is $200 million and the valuation revealed that it is $40 million, then sell it for the $40 million and let the people pay than leaving it to rot. So that we're going to lose the total $200 million. Now, you see, my next step is that I am going to bulldoze a road to that place and invite all of you, the media houses, and take you there. Okay? And we'll now take a proper footage of the place, and then we'll send it to court and ask the court to grant us access to the building for Ghanaians to take control. You understand? That is what we should do. We will take you there, the media. I will get a caterpillar to bulldoze the road for us, and you take the videos, and then we send this to court and ask the court whether it is prudent to allow such buildings to be rotting, meanwhile when people are dying looking for court. So that's the next way. Now, COVID-19 and Ukraine issue. Whether...
Yes, that is the cause of Ghana's economic...
No, Ghana started its crisis way beyond COVID-19. Since independence, after Nkrumah. After Nkrumah, the rest of the leaders who came, they were not looking for salvaging, they were not looking to salvage you and the Ghanaian people. They were looking at making sure that their pockets, even if they were making sure only their pockets were full, I'll be happy. But they are looking for the one for their great-great-grandchildren. And that is why we are where we are. Mismanagement. Why are we complaining about COVID-19? COVID-19 just came in 2020. Russia-Ukraine war came 2022. That's just 2 years ago. 3 years ago, weren't you suffering? Huh? 4 years ago, were you not struggling to get 3 square meals? Till date, are you not in the same position? Look, I am being honest with you. This crisis has even helped us. Because with COVID, we got a lot of money. And we saved a lot of lives. And I'm sure we all know that the COVID money was good to help all of us. Some people survived, some didn't, and they passed on. May their soul rest in peace. But it was also a blessing. It was not just a crisis. Because it came with a lot of resources to support us. And we were able to benefit from those resources. So why are we complaining COVID-19, COVID-19, COVID-19? Why? Don't we have other excuses to make? Mismanagement, corruption, that is it. And you are asking whether the finance minister and the former president is calling for to go to where? To go to the IMF.
Part of the negotiation.
If I get the opportunity, I will say nobody should go to IMF, not even the finance. All of them shouldn't go. They should exclude all of them. Because they are not going to get the money and do anything for us. I said it already. Those monies, the same group of people, it's going to be the same story. So why should they go? They are going to incur more debt for you. Why should they? They shouldn't go. We don't want them to go. Because they are going to incur more debt for us to pay. You think they go and take that debt, they are going to pay? No. So if the former president is even telling them to go, it's a big mistake. Why should they go? They should tell us the reason why they are going to IMF. 17 times, the story is still the same. You keep borrowing for the same person, you keep going to your father's house for 17 times looking for money after you have matured as a graduate. You go back to your father's house. Look, my father used to help a lot of people. And one day I was with him, and a gentleman came to him and said, Alaji, MP, he used to call him MP, because my father was a member of parliament. Hey, Alaji, Nazo, say, what is it? Wallahi, na Bukatan Kudi. The master said, Bukatan Kudi means I'm looking for money. My father said, go to the container there. There's money there. Go and take the money. The man went. He looked in the container. There was money. He took the money and he left. 3 days later, he came back again. Alaji, wallahi, na broke. My father said, that broke. Hey, yeah. Wallahi, Alaji. Bawasaba. My father said, go back there. Look in the container. There's money. He went there and he took. A week later, he followed his wife and came to the house. This time he said his wife is pregnant, she's sick, she's not well, and they have to take her for the hospital. My father said, oh, why are you worried yourself? You go there. You know where to take the money. Go and look. The man went and looked there. There was nothing. He came and told my father, Alaji, wallahi, na do back home you. Back home chiki. Alaji say, back home. Did you return the one you took? He said, no. He said, so how are we going to get money? You've taken everything away. Who put it for you to take? That is the situation of Ghana. We keep taking and not putting back. One day we'll go and nobody will give us. And that is the way we are today. Nobody is willing to give us loan. Because we don't pay. We don't pay. And even the one we pay is even the interest. Your government is only paying interest on loan. It's not paying loan. I'm being honest with you. Your government is not paying loan. He's paying only interest on loan. And they will tell you that they are paying interest on loan from John Mahama and Kufo and the rest. But they are still taking more loans to pay interest on loan. What kind of government is this? And I tell you that all of you are away, you don't understand. All of you, if they want to sell all of you, it's not going to be easy. All right, so one more last question. Yeah, yes.
Mr.
Yes.
President, Sophie's.
Yes.
You are looking good today.
Oh.
Thank God for your life.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, my question is that I don't know if this question or suggestion. Please, you touch on Sagrebi.
Yeah.
One government started Sagrebi.
Yes.
And it came to this.
Yeah.
Particular current government that party we are seeing. And this man too, he will leave it and go.
Yeah.
Don't you think, in fact, if you have one policy, or if I say policy, let me make it law. If you should have one law that can govern us, that if somebody starts something, the person should come. Don't you think it will help?
But that is why we say governance is a continuous business. When we say governance is a continuous business, what it means is that the resources that we use to build, when you come as government, you must, and that is why I have been talking about political parties not having manifesto and we having a national development plan. Because when we have a national development plan, which is not the plans of political parties, what we want is that we have a development plan. Every party should come and tell government or the people of Ghana how he or his party intends to make sure that he fulfills the plan. So that we don't come with manifestos like one district, one factory, one Yamaha, one motorbike, and all that jokes. But we have a plan that all parties must follow. So that now when you come, you will tell us how you intend to fulfill that program of having a train system from Accra to Boko. How are you going to finance it? Or how are you going to finance the issue of having factories all over the country? Or becoming a a government that is produced rather than consumed. These are the things we need to start looking at, rather than the manifesto. The manifestos, this gentleman, I said they lie. They lie and they get power. When they get power, they give excuses. What are you going to do? And the next time they are coming, they will come and use, you see, I wrote something here and I deleted it. Because I didn't want to be too hard. I asked a question. I answered the one and I didn't answer the second one. I asked a question, how will you define Ghana's democracy today? I did not answer that one. You know the Ghana's democracy today is money stolen from the people to buy the people to do what? Thank you. That's Ghana's democracy today. We steal the money from the people to buy the people. Yes, your question was what would the APC do? You see, beside the press conferences that we do here, I follow up sometimes. I'm being sincere with you. Sometimes, even when I am done with a press conference like this, I do sometimes get calls from government to ask me what is my opinion on certain issues. And I do tell them. I do relate to them and say, do A, do B, do C. But it's not for me to come and stand here and say it. But if you are a listening government and you are doing government, we'll be better than where we are. Are you getting what I'm saying? So for us in the APC, we believe that power is for the people. We believe that all of us have a stake and a stake to be able to ask government to do the right thing. Don't only wait for Hassan Ayariga to say it. Whilst Hassan Ayariga is saying it, you are telecasting it and making sure that all the things I say gets to the ears of the president and his vice, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and his, what do you call them? No, not the finance minister, the management team. What do you call them? Economic management team. Yes, what a team. So that they will understand that they are better management of the economy than them, and they are proposing solutions. You see, if we begin to adapt solutions from various stakeholders, I'm sure we'll not be where we are. And that is why I think that the president must speak. The president must engage Ghanaians. The president must speak to power and talk to Ghanaians and tell us what is really happening. You cannot be a silent president and want things to go well and want Ghanaians to buy into the things you do. You have to educate us on what is happening in our country. What are the dynamics? You have to tell us. If I am president, I will talk until Ghanaians will cry. Because I will tell them what is really the truth. So that we all know where we stand and know what we should do. Because when we know that in the next few months, we will not get fuel, we'll begin to change our consumption level. If we know there's going to be shortage of food in the next few months, we will not do wastage of food stuff. But I tell you, a crisis bigger than what we are having today is coming. And I'll just give you a short scenario of what is coming. You see the OMCs. Initially, 7 months ago, they probably needed 100,000 Ghana cedis to buy and sell fuel to make a profit of 10,000. Today, they need 300,000 Ghana cedis to buy fuel to make a profit of 10,000. In the next few months to come, they will be needing 500,000 Ghana cedis to make a profit of 10,000 Ghana cedis. Do you think they will do it? Most of them will run out of business. And when they run out of business, many filling stations will become empty because they still need huge capital now. They need now more capital to sell the same quantity and make that profit because the price of fuel has gone up. So what is going to happen is that most of them are going to have difficulties raising that capital to sell and get that 10,000 profit. And they are not willing to do that. So they will stop. And when they stop, what happens? Those economic management team, scarcity will enter. So the fuel price, the fuel will now become scarce. And when it becomes scarce, the price will what? Will go up. And when it goes up, the oil will drop. And then what happens? We're now going to buy 100 cedis per gallon and even not get it. That is what is hitting us. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, we know you are many. Thank you very much for coming. But we'll try as much as possible to make sure you all get your envelopes and then go back. Thank you.